round 7. Welcome, guys. If you're watching this from YouTube, if you're watching this from Twitch, you already know we in here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. This is round 7 today. We're talking about 2 brilliancies. OTB. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow, I had no idea. In fact, I didn't know that I had 2 brilliancies until I just put it in the game review thing. And then right here, I had to put this up here to show you guys right here. You can see it right under me. From wherever you're watching right now, you can see that I have 2 brilliant moves from chess.com. 2 of them in the same game. It's over 9,000! Yeah. Power level over 9,000. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, we definitely gonna see the blunder. We definitely gotta see this blunder because I don't know what the blunder is. Right, but the saber's on. We ready. We gonna see the game. Shout out to E. Rosenberg, actually in the chat right now as well too. So Evan Rosenberg, one of the mods, is here as he actually played him in this tournament here. So all right, here we go. Now let's flip back to the main scene for you guys to be able to see the game. So here we go. I go move 1. Can y'all guess the move? In fact, chat. What y'all think move 1 is, right? What do you think move one is? What are we going to start with today? I've played D4 in this tournament. I've played E4 in this tournament. I can really play whatever. Rosenberg says, I won't spoil it, right? He definitely doesn't know. E4 on B3. Yeah, that was definitely a consideration. I actually looked at some files. In fact, while you're mentioning pawn B3, let me tell you the story behind what I'm playing right now. So I'm doing my research. I'm doing my prep on my guy. You know, I'm in the lab, like literally looking up my dude, like looking at everything. Okay, what he play? What is this? What he like to eat in the morning? Like, you know, what's his favorite color? You know, how does he dye his shoes? So I'm checking everything, everything that he play, and everything. And then I start finding. I'm like, man, he booked up. Like he knows some stuff. He's very solid in a lot of things that I was trying to take him. I'm trying to take him down roads. Like, you know how, shout out to Grandfather Tal one time, right? He always says, take him into the forest. 2 + 2 = 5. That's what I'm trying to do. 2 + 2 = 5. So I'm like, everything out here looking like 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4, and 4 + 4 = 8. And if you go with math, it keeps going up and you keep getting him correct. He knew his stuff, to say the least. So I'm like, you know what? Here, I found this one line where I knew that I can get a nice attacking line in because of what he plays, right? So all right, here we go. Here's the move right here. Y'all ready? C4. I know C4. You don't usually see this. This is actually the second time I played this OTB, right? C4, right? Second time. First time was a draw. In a position where I was actually better in the norm tournament. So in fact, C4 is quite spicy, but yeah, it's just so many ways you can go, right? That's the problem. So many ways you can go, right? So, but C4, I go C4. C4 was the one blunder, says Tommy Shelby, bro. C4, niece. What? Just what on earth did he even say? He said niece with the question marks after C4. Okay, 1 for 1. Blunder wise, what? No, I'm studying 1 + 1. Oh yeah, 1 for 1. Correct. Every wheel. There we go. You know what they won? King H8 wins, right? Relatives. Oh, nice. Oh, that's a nice command there. So C4. I play C4. He hits me with E5, right? And I knew this because I knew this from his studies. I did my research. Saw that E5 is what he was going to play. This was expected, right? This was expected. Aunt Judith, Grandfather Tao, Cousin Geary, Nephew Donnie, Uncle Devereski, and Brother Magnus. Right? These are my relatives. Very nice. It's a nice command. Feingold says C4 is explosive, and C4 is correct, right? And he is correct about that. C4, E5 is a natural move. I go knight C3, and I knew based off prep, he was going to play bishop B4. I knew this. So I'm like, like I'm ready, because I'm like, I had a whole file that I looked at where I was like, I'm about to hit this man with the Saber 9000. I'm about to hit this man with the Saber 9000. So he plays bishop B4, right? And of course, I go with the immediate. In fact, what would you do in this position, chat? Let's see what you got. Let's see if you guys know what I'm talking about here. His next move threw me off a bit. He's even in the chat. He says his next move threw him off. So white to move here, guys. What do you play? What move do you think I played to throw him off? As he says it in the chat. White to move. Where do we move, chat? And you got a lot of ways to play the English, obviously, right? Obviously, but Queen a4. You know what? That would actually throw my man's off. Sheesh. For real. Queen c2. That's another one. Knight d5. Maybe not so much. I mean, it is hitting before. King h8. Gross. Especially 95. Queen c2. Yeah, Queen e4 is funny. Queen e4 I've actually seen in some files, which is a ridiculous move. Like the e4 Queen h5 Nakamura stuff. b3, interesting. In fact, the move here is actually a fan of Magnus's as well. It's the e4 move, bro. Yeah. E4 is real. Look at this. e4 is a nice move. Magnus is a fan of playing this way too, with the idea of actually after capturing, which he does, right? He takes on, he says, what is this? What is this? And watch this, right? Here's the theory too, Tommy. After knight f6, you play g3, right? You don't even care about none of this. And it takes, so what, right? Knight takes, you play queen g4. And there's tactics here already. Knight f6, queen takes, rook g8, and queen h6. And yeah, this is weird looking, but I'm casting queen side, and like this is not what you're used to. It's kind of aggressive. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. So Magnus is a fan of this line, in fact. So I was like, bet, let me play the e4 line. And he got a game against Anand as well. So after bishop takes c3, d takes c3, d6, and I remember the plan. This is why you guys remember plans and ideas over the moves. The plan is literally, look, bishop d3, maybe try to play bishop g5 if you get the knight at f6 if he castles quickly. You are going to play f3. You might get a knight h3 to f2 in if he plays knight d7, blocking the bishop, right? And then you're going to play queen d2 or e2, castle queen side, and literally thrust the pawns and go for mate. This is the plan. We ready. We ready out here. This is the plan right now. This is the plan. Since you missed a few rook. Wow. Just wow. But so this is the plan, right? So we know the plan. Now let's see how it happens. After d6, I go bishop to d3. It looks very strange because it is. Let me put the bishop here where we need to develop anyway. Right? Yeah, for real. Knowing that now doesn't really help me. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, you're right. Right. All right, so let's happen. After bishop d3, he goes knight f6, right? Hitting the pawn, but not really. I mean, he's just developing. I go f3. First off, Feingold is tripping. You don't, you're like, yo, never do this. But this is just the plan here, and like, there is times when you play it, and this is one of the times. f3, right? And then you are going to play knight h3 or f2 if he blocks here. And the knight's going to go to e2, and we choose where to castle. He plays a5, which I saw this, and I can't remember what the files say. Because I was like, I think, and I'm like, okay, I don't remember all of them, but I remember, again, the ideas. Because there's like different move orders, and he do this to this, or this way and that way. But it comes out to be the same thing ideas-wise with the attack. I develop bishop e3, he goes knight a6, right? Nice development. Now I don't have my knight h3 idea anymore, right? I don't have it anymore, and because he's just gonna try to snap that off, which is not cool. And you do want to get the knight to f2 because it helps you push g4, g5 in this attack. But now I can't, and the knight goes here in King's Indian fashion. So I played knight e2. He plays b6, right? Just bolstering out. I mean, not a bad position, right? Knight going to c5, but I'm developing too as well. After the b6 option, I castle and get out the way. Bishop b7, and then here we go. All right, guys, white to move. Here we go. All right, so we know what the plan kind of is here, right? But it's white to move. So what did we do? Bitcoin. Yo, that's sweet that literally Bitcoin has the you have a name Bitcoin in the chat. Like, that's sweet. Thanks for the follow too. Checkmate. That's right. That big boy center, right? It's white to move, chat. What do you do about this? What about h4, knight h3? That's a interesting plan, Tommy. I didn't think about that one. That might be something actually to look into, to be honest. See, alternative bros pawns. Yeah, bird migration. Like black position minus the knight. Queen a4. Yeah, kill it. Queen a4, or is that the garbage button? Well, first we are going to push it just because it's there. Secondly, queen a4 is not real utter garbage at all. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not what we want. You remember, it's about the plans and ideas. I traded off the dark square bishop, so it makes sense to fix my pawns to control the dark square, says E. Rosenberg in the chat. Correct. He is correct. That's a general rule, guys. When you trade a bishop, you put the pawns on the same color of the bishop you traded, which was he traded the dark square bishop. So he perfectly executed the idea of doing it. Put the pawns on the dark square, so this bishop's a very good piece. Queen to e1 from Everett Wheel. So you have queen e1, queen a4. I see king h1 as well in the chat. In fact, here, this is the option I chose here, was knight to g3. I went for knight g3 so I can go for a knight f5 option, something like that. you know, maybe an f4, or like just to put the knight here to go knight f5, maybe provoke a g6. If g6 happens, well then, you know, there's holes all in the position. Bishop a6 is one move I can make. Queen d2, like this is just not fun to play, right? It's not fun to play as black. So knight to g3, knight to g3, and then he comes in with the knight, knight c5. All right, cool. He hits the bishop. Do we let him take it or not? Now, it is not the greatest bishop, guys. Do we let him capture this bishop or not? Do we let him capture the bishop? Do you move it? Or do you do another move? Do you do another move? No. How is white not +2? That's a great question, and there's a lot of counterplay for both sides. I mean, pieces are moving. Obviously, not another move. Bad bishops protect good pawns. Ooh, that's ooh. Oh, jeez, you hearing spitting facts. Don't let him get this plan off. Bishop c2. Trading is the first sign of defeat. Okay. All right, guys. In fact, I did go bishop to c2 because I'm not trying to let him take the bishop. I do want to keep it for future reference. And if I'm ever able to open the game up, I love open positions. You know, these bishops about to go to work. These bishops, you know, they about to go to work. So bishop to c2. After bishop c2, he goes bishop a6. I thought this was an error here. Engine thinks it's just totally fine, which it is. But as a human here, I think I felt like it was error-like. One thing from chess fundamentals, like guys, you can always get that too, by the way, for chess. Actually, I get that in chess fundamentals. What it says is you should refrain from moving a piece multiple times in the opening. Now, of course, obviously, in positions that are closed, you can do that. And this is a closed position. This makes sense. He hits the pawn. But maybe there was something better here. In fact, Engine likes h5. One time for the people in the back. That's a strange looking move to be doing that with your king in the center here, which actually ended up happening in the game. He played h5. But right now seems a little bit committal, very committal right now, especially as I'm about to try to open up the center and stuff. The engine also likes 96 and king f8. One time for the people in the back. Thank you. So ain't nobody playing king f8 ever in this position. But engine's like, yeah, play king f8. So bishop a6, he hits the pawn on c4. He hits the pawn on c4. I have a few options, but I just defend it. I just go b3. I just wanted to keep it all nice and solid here because I want to break with f4. Also with the bishop going now, f4 is definitely a break. He goes 96. And now after 96, I got a multitude of moves to make. I got lots of things I can do. Remember what the plan was. What do you do now, guys? Chat, white to move. I like bishop a4, c6 for you instead. Yeah. Yeah, E. Rosenberg likes that. He said bishop a4 and then the c6 idea. To c6, bishop c6. I like bishop a4 too. Yeah, I was a fan of that too. I just wanted to really control and go for just the plan was attack the king. I'm not deviating, right? So that was my plan there, was to just not deviate and just go for this man king because that's what I know best. Shout out to Grandfather Tao, right? You know, so knight f5, king f2, king f. There's two people with the king f2. I'm reading that. That is king f2 twice. Wow. Two people thought that this was a move. I don't know, like something in the air, maybe something in the water. Be careful, guys. Be careful. Be very careful. h4, f4. Okay. What they say, like, yeah, let's say commercial. Blink twice if you're in danger, right? Garbage. Yeah, that. A knight is worth 3 pawns, right? Is it bishop worth? Good question. Okay, so after this 96 move, here it is, guys. I break with f4. Let's go. And I'm looking at E. Rosenberg and I'm staring at him real hard, and he knows that this is not the truth because I wasn't looking at him at all, right? But I'm staring at him real hard in my head, like, let's go, big fella. Let's go. I'm ready. Are you ready? We going for this right now. So I play f4. And I'm like, and here he didn't capture, but what happens on capture here, obviously why I went for this is to just open up the game. And this is actually an equal position, believe it or not. But this is not the easiest to play. Let's flip the board. If you look at it from black's side here, I mean, look at this, right? There's a knight potentially coming into f5. Like, you just feel like, do you put your king really over here now? You know, castling, do you really feel like you're safe if you castle over here? I got the doubling and sacking at any moment, right? But the engine, like, yo, this is equal. Yo, equal what? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is terrible. At least it feels like it as a human, right? As a human here, because knight f5, g6, maybe some type of kingside attack. You need to be very, very careful of how you proceed here, right? If anything, I would have gone queen side. See, he's saying I wouldn't even castle to this side. He was like, I'm going to castle queen side in this position. But even then, knight f5 and then the g7 pawn could be hanging. Maybe he sacrifices it for counterplay. This could be a wild game. b4 could open up the game. I mean, I could go b4, c5, really try to open up stuff. Queen f3, where the king is. Like, this game is going to be absolutely nuts, right? This could be a crazy game here. And then, you know, even bishop to b7, right? He could put rook to the file. A lot of work. A lot of work. This didn't happen, though, in the game. He didn't take at all. It was like, you know, I'm not going to take on f4. I'm going to play h5. And he plays h5 with the intention of something like h4, right? Which he did find, you know, h5 here. This makes a move. Makes a move. Black's bishop is like dead. Yeah, but he can play bishop b7 and always come back. And when the game opens up, as the game opens up, pieces open up. So this bishops will become active. But right now, not the greatest. You could play b5 as well. Steve's 5, what's up? So h5. h5, right? Maybe with some h4 in here. He's also threatening this, though. Watch this. Watch this, guys. So let's see what y'all do, chat. What do you play here? This is a threat. And I remember, this is why I look. I'm gonna give y'all a Jedi secret right now. Okay, something you want to do in every round. If you're playing in these tournaments for the people that's big dogs, you trying to play for norms, whatever, right? If you're playing in tournaments, it's in any tournament for that matter. It's very good to watch everyone else's games. I remember when he was playing Rachel Miller, right, with the black pieces. Something like this happened where he played h5. He put the knights was like everywhere in this position. I don't know what happened, but he's used to doing this and putting knights over here and going crazy. Because I remember this. I was like, oh, nah, bro, you ain't about to get me. Nah, bro, I don't know. You thought I didn't see, huh? Oh, you thought I didn't see. You about trying to get me with the little doo-wopty, right? So if I play something like rook c1, there's like knight g4 in here. And then I move and then queen h4, right? So immediately I go from winning to losing in the immediate. It was h6 Italian where I pawn stormed the king side. I remember this, E. Rosenberg. And I remember looking at your game and thinking that I was like, oh, he's trying to hit me with the little, I got you. Oh, I got you, big fella. So I played h3. And then I stared at him real hard and just sat there until he moved and stared at him until he moved. And then he played h4. He played h4. Played h4 and hit the knight. Right. I go knight f5. Right. After knight f5, there's a lot about to happen here. He finally takes on f4. Okay, here we go. Cool. I take back with the bishop. And then here it is. He hits me with knight to h5. He is hitting my bishop 2 times, big fella. Uh-oh. What do you do? Your bishop hanging. Your bishop hanging. But you got to open rook file. You got to act fast. Maybe you don't. Maybe you move the bishop. It's white to move, chat. Where do you go? Where do you go? Your bishop is hanging. That boy is hit twice. Guys, to give him extra board vision. That's right. I will move the bishop. That's very nice, Curious. You know, clap it up, bro. I would move the bishop. That is nice. That's a great move, my guy. Moving the bishop is excellent. Bishop e3. Okay, queen takes h5. Oh, my goodness. Queen takes h5. Let me just... I don't even want to, like... Just going to push the button for that one. Queen takes h5. Bishop e3. Knight d6. Bishop c1. Bishop d6. Please. Please. He like, please play. Please take the knight, my guy. Please. Queen g4. V Miles. Bishop h2. Okay. All right. Queen g4. Bishop c1. King h1. And they done. Yeah. You done. Yeah. You could just assign a score sheet, go home. Don't even come to the next round. Like, that's disrespectful for you to play somebody after you do something like King H1 in this position. Don't even come to the next round. Bishop. Okay, here we go, guys. All right. So, the move here, this is the first brilliancy. Y'all ready for it? Bishop takes d6. Oh, snap. Brain fuel was like flying everywhere. When I made the move, the brain fuel was like flying everywhere. It was like ridiculous. Bishop takes d6. That was the first brilliancy. That one was the first brilliancy. Bishop takes d6. It happened. Bishop takes d6. Oh my goodness, what a move. And I had to calculate here because what happens if he takes it? Obviously, there's we got to see. After knight takes d6, right, he goes king f8. And remember, and this is, I've been doing a lot of Russian tactics. By the way, shout out to Russian tactics. I'm leaking something right now that I shouldn't be, but I'm going to do it for y'all. We have a Russian tactics series coming up. We already got like 10 files ready for that and thumbnails ready for you guys. But we got a Russian tactics series. But a lot of tactics that I've been doing, Russian tactics, very strong stuff, right, has been very amazing like this. But rook takes f7, right, and then after king to g8, right, king to g8, you go queen to d5. Boom. So now I'm hitting this. I knew, and this is a very powerful pin. Look at this. I'm hitting this knight. If you play king h7, I take this knight. Obviously, that's hanging, so that's game over. But the problem here is, what if he goes knight f4? If he brings this knight here, you do rook takes f4. I'm looking at all of this in calculations. And after here, rook takes f4, right? This is a pin for the win. GG, start a new one, right? And then here, okay, knight f6 doesn't work because rook takes, and then I'm mating this way too. How about, okay, last move that might work would be something like knight, f4? This one, even this knight f4. This one doesn't work because something like rook to f8 check. Look at this check. Do you see this check? Do you see this check? I was looking at all of this. I was ready. King takes and then mate on f2 or f7. That's gross, right? And then king h7, and then you just hit him with the little checky poo. What do you do? I think it's queen f5, but I could just take this too. This one's a little bit trickier, but there's a lot going on. Right? So I hit him with bishop takes d6. We do have this queen g4 work there too. Queen g4 after queen knight h5 probably loses on the spot. No, it doesn't, but it is not good because of just knight takes. You just don't have enough. It looks good. Knight takes g7. I mean, it looks like this. This is what you end up with. It's just inaccurate. And after king h4, right, rook f8, and everything's kind of defended. It's inaccurate. Queen g4 is just different, though. It is different. It is different because you have to remember you're giving up material immediately. I was talking about after. Oh, you're talking about after the brilliancy. So after bishop takes d6 and then g6, queen g4 here. Probably wouldn't be good due to pawn takes. Here. This one. Maybe this one. And then you have to find a follow-up here. I don't see. You can't take here now. Can't go here. I'm threatening to take this one. It looks good, but it probably doesn't do much. Dale's Flash, thanks for the tier 1 there. Thanks for gifting. Yeah, queen g4 is not working there. Queen d5 helps because it keeps everything connected. It has this, and then rook here as well. So, yeah. But what happened? Okay, so I took on d6. He plays g6, right? First brilliancy. So I take on d6. I'm hype about it. Oh, snap. Right. Bishop takes d6. He plays g6. He hits the knight. I go queen d5. There is a lot going on right now. There is a lot going on. First things first is I'm threatening queen to c6 check. So if a move like knight g7 gets immediately sent to heaven. After knight takes g7, and actually, I mean, of course, after knight takes here, there's mate. So there's also king to d7 here, and bishop to a3 check, king c8. Oh my goodness, and mate, or that's not mate, but everything's falling. Everything's falling right. This is like close to mate there. There's also this line with queen to c6, like maybe, I don't know, rook g8, queen c6 check. Really nice. Queen d7 takes, because it's forced. It's forced. You can't go anywhere else. Can't go anywhere else after queen here, check, and then that's the problematic as well. Lots of problems for white. It's really hard to find a move here. I'm actually impressed that yeah, I haven't found this move, bro. Like the only move that he could probably play here is rook b8 to play bishop b7 and like stop queen c6. And also after rook b8, if I go queen c6, he just kind of blocks. And I mean, actually, you know what's funny, guys? He's out of the woods. It's an equal position. Believe it or not, I got 2 pieces hanging. I'm out here looking crazy. I mean, I literally have 2 pieces hanging, and he's about to trade queens. So if I allow this to happen, I can actually end up losing the game if I'm not accurate. So rook to b8 is the move that he played. Like, he found the best move here. Rook to b8 was the move. And bishop to b7 with the threats here. If I go queen c7, I'm in trouble. c6, I mean. So it's white to move. What do you actually do in this position, guys? I mean, it's crazy. 2 pieces hanging, a queen on d5. What the heck is this? Where'd he go? Bishop to e5 from B Miles. It's a wild game. Bishop e5. So let's look at that. What is that? Bishop e5. You talking about bishop back? Hit the rook. is what you're saying. King H2, it tucks. It's a tuck. Little tuck and roll. Queen AA, sign of papers. Jeez, that's gross. Queen takes E6, right? People probably looking at this, which you have to kind of look at to see if there's some type of mate. I'll get the F5 knight at least. At least F5 knight, yeah, says Evan. There's a lot going on here, guys. You got like knight G7s, right? Queen C6, E5. I even thought about B4 too, like a B4, to see if I can get this in. E5. Knight G7, that's an interesting one too. G4, that's interesting too. Here's what I chose, guys. It was Queen E5. I just chose Queen E5 to get out of the way to bring the rook here and a tempo. Now, what he could have tried here was Queen F6. He did not play Queen F6, and we briefly talked about this after the game too. Was Queen F6, and I remember I was like, I seen this, but I actually didn't know what to do, what I was gonna do. I was actually I was thinking about, do I repeat? But then there's Bishop B7. And I didn't want to really take on C7. I think this is what I was going to do, actually. I was going to take on C7. And then if you took here, then I was forking you like this. This is what I looked at. Yeah, I remember this. After Queen F6, I could take on C7. And then that's kind of it. I'm hitting the rook. And then if you move, I got Knight D6 now. So yeah, this was just winning. This is just winning. And if you, at least you get the knight. I think that's what you were saying, right? At least you get the knight. But then I wonder if I take here or I take here. Everything. I should be just winning though, right? It should be winning here, but yeah, this is better. So Queen E5, he played Rook H7, right? Little Rook on H7. I mean, look, honestly, if it wasn't for where my pieces was placed, this game could have went definitely another direction. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Watch these next moves. I go Rook A to D1. I mean, look at all my pieces, right? I'm feeling like, yo, I'm about to win right now. Like, there's no possible way he's surviving this. You know, no. There's no possible way he can survive this, right? I got a knight on F5, a bishop on D6. Both of them are hanging. All of my pieces are into play here. Look, pieces coming alive, right? I mean, this is a great position. I should be just done. This should be over in 2 moves, I'm expecting. So he takes on F5. He gets rid of one of the pieces. Guys, there's so many moves here, and you need to be very accurate. Don't block with your face here on national television. It is white to move here. What do you do right now? He just took the knight, taking away one of your good pieces. Got to do something. Good job there. Ooh, that's nice. Says we have to 1380 now. Let's go. Ooh, let's get it. Bishop takes C7. We got 2 for Bishop takes C7. Queen F5. Okay. From Canty. Nice. Rook F5. King F2. Gross. Isn't Rosenberg a GTA character? Huh. I actually wouldn't know, to be honest. I'm sure people in the chat would know. Queen takes F5. Bishop takes C7. Yeah, Bishop takes C7 is big time face blockage, guys. 100%. Yep, garbage. Yep. Oh, yeah. 100%. 1,000 times. You just take with the queen, and then and he gonna be staring at me the rest of the game. Uncomfortably. Moving pieces, still looking at me. Imagine that. Still looking at you while they move the piece. Still looking at you. Yeah, you did that. Yeah, you did that. Yeah, you did that. Yeah, finishing off the game, looking at you all crazy. Yeah, and you deserve every weird look you get out of that one. Bishop takes C7, looking crazy out here. Correct. So it's no good. Can you play E takes F5 and exploit the pin? In fact, Levy's curtains is correct. E takes F5 is what I played. But actually, this is move number 3 on the engine. Like, that's like crazy. Like, in fact, this is like the garbage move out of all the 3 moves I could have played. Bishop A3 was number 1. That's like, wow. What the heck is that? I was not looking at that. And then after Queen G5, now you take. I was like, dang, that's advanced right there. I mean, I ain't see Bishop A3. I was not looking at that. But there was also Queen takes F5, which actually does hit the rook. It hits the rook and F7. This is a pretty good move. Judith had a position like this. I just did a tactic in one of my Russian chess tactic books. I was literally just doing a puzzle with Judith in it, and she played Queen F5. It was some nasty knight F5, take on E5, It was a gross tactic. Queen ended up on f5, hitting h7. No way to really move it. If you go back, it was mate, and I think they couldn't go to g7 for some reason. Maybe because the bishop was there. I don't remember, but it was a nasty tactic like this. Queen f5. Canty brought earlier that move, mentioned bishop 5 was fired. The queen does the same, but less emphasis. Line is crazy. Oh, wow. Nuts. Yikes. And the reason why I'm not going for bishop e5 is due to the fact that I'm not trying to trade. I just don't want to trade queens just to liquidate, you know. But if I'm winning in the liquidation in that's why I'll go with it. But bishop e5, that's cool that works. I took on f5 this way. So I'm pinning him here. Now, right now, I'm down a piece, right? I think, right? I'm down a piece. 3, 4, 5, 3, 6. Yeah, I'm down a piece. And then he takes. So right now, I'm currently down 2 pieces. Like, yo, I'm down 2 pieces right now. 2 pieces. So I only have 1 brilliancy so far, right? Which was the bishop takes d6. Of course, I do take on d6, correct? Rook takes d6. And then he plays queen to c7. Okay, guys. Queen c7. I'm like, oh, this is game over, right? Bruh. It's game over. All right, white to move, chat. This should be easy for y'all, right? White to move. Where do you go? Where do you go here? White to move. Oh, here is where you should have went queen f6. Oh, back here you were saying queen f6. Ah, I didn't look at that one. Oh, queen f6. I see rook e6, rook e6, rook e6 does not work, rook e6, rook e6. Okay, yo, guys, you know, I'm proud of y'all, man. Rook e6, that's beautiful. Rook e6 all through the chat. That's wonderful. Rook e6, 100% premium garbage. Get the man off the board. You're gross. You're done. Garbage. Not a move. Not a move. What do you mean, bro? Simple puzzle rush tactic. I take the queen. Oh, okay. And when I take this back, and when you take my queen, I'm going to take your queen, and I'm going to stare at you. Oh, you forgot. Oh, you forgot. Well, you can go home now. You can go home now. Take the horse, you would have fallen. Yeah, you can go home now because you was thinking that. Because you was definitely thinking that. You may not have said nothing in the chat, but you was definitely thinking, oh, I'm just going to take the queen. Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep. I know. I know you did. And I did not do that. I took with the pawn. I took with the pawn, my guy. Wow. See, it look both ways, right? Exactly. I took with the pawn. So I took with the pawn here. I took with the pawn. Yeah, right, toy attacker. I took with the pawn, and this is what happened next. He plays f6. And I'm like, oh, snap. What is going on? This is a wild position. Did I mess this up? Like, what the heck is this, guys, right? And then this is when I find brilliant move number 2. 2 brilliant moves in the same game, right? Bishop takes d6 earlier was brilliant move number 1. What is brilliant move number 2? This was the brilliant move that I got from chess.com, saying that I got 2 brilliant moves from this game, and this one was the second one. All right, here it is. Y'all ready? Y'all see it, chat? Shout out to Grandfather Tao. What does he say? Sack first, think later. You know what we did. Rook takes f6. Let's go. Brain fuel. Brain fuel. Get brain fuel. Canty 15. Wow. Right. Rook takes f6. Sheesh. Sheesh. It's a brilliant move. It's a brilliant move. Why? Let's see what happens. All right. If knight takes f6, boom. Knight takes f6. Queen takes. Let's just see what happens on queen takes. What he missed, or what you guys are missing here, is he can't go king d7. I have this check here, and it actually leads to mate. After rook f7, you take with the bishop, and then here, and then check, and then mate. A nasty mate line. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That is disgusting. That is disgusting, bro. Rook f6, right? So, okay, knight takes, queen takes. What if he checks me? Which is a check. I just step out the way. Again, if you take, you get mated on g6. If you move the rook anywhere, it doesn't matter where you move the rook. Well, that's mate on the move. You can't even block anymore, right? So this is a nasty mating sequence. Mate everywhere. It says, meanwhile, my a6 bishop, which we forgot that was even there, right, is like, oh, here just chilling, right? That's what he says. Fire. Yeah, this was a nasty game, right? So I play rook takes f6. This was my second brilliant move. And then he plays queen c5. In fact, I almost thought I blundered here because I was like, oh my goodness. Like, what happened? Like, I'm hurt. But I'm also like, wait a second. I mean, I got all these moves. I gotta have something, right? So I take the queen forced, and then takes, and then here I have a number of moves. In fact, I can play bishop g6. Actually, right here is the worst move to make because king e7, and this is like you got everyone. Well, maybe not everyone, but both your rooks are like forked here. This is strange. This is very strange. What if you move the bishop to g6 first? Curious says. Back here. So you mean bishop g6 instead. Well, I didn't like bishop g6. Actually, this does work, guys, by the way. Bishop g6 does work. I didn't like king e7. This is what you have to find. I did see rook d7. This is what I saw. I saw this line, and if queen takes, don't take the queen, guys. Garbage. Do not take the queen because he's going to take yours back. And again, I'm going to stare at you looking all crazy. Bruh. Right? So don't take the queen. You have to actually take on b8. And this line was kind of murky for me. Like, I was like, I mean, it looked right, but like, I'm hitting the rook. Like, can he take this? Is it actually made? What is actually going on right now? You know what I mean? So this, I wanted to be actually 100% sure that I was going to do this correctly here. Because this didn't feel like this, even though Waite's winning, I mean, still, like, if you mess this up, you really messed this up, right? So this just doesn't feel that good. I could also just take the rook, obviously, but I did see that bishop g6 was an option, and it is very playable, guys. I went with rook takes f6 because I did like that mate option. And he checked me. We trade the queens off, and I could play rook f2. I could literally move the rook anywhere on the f file because, sorry, even there wins. But rook a6 and bishop h7 are still hanging. Still hanging. Still hanging. All right, so, okay. I take on h7. He takes here. And guys, this still went another like 20 moves, believe it or not. Check, king here, takes, and then we get this position. And I'm like, dang, bro, all of that, I'm still playing this game. What a game. What a game. I take on a5. I think I went into deep thought here, though. I went into thought for a while. Yeah, I was thinking of bishop f7, but I was thinking there's just so many weird ways of like check here. I go here, and the problem is, let me show you an example of what would happen if you're not paying attention, right? This is the worst thing. Bishop f7, check. King here, you just literally give up the pawn. Literally, and I'm not trying to do that right now. So king h2, but then watch this, knight e4, and let's say you tripping and you lose your absolute mind and you do something like rook takes a5 and then knight g3. Oh my, are you kidding? Are you kidding me right now? Like, you're getting mated now. Like, you're literally getting mated. You know what I'm saying? Now you're getting mated. Now you're looking like an idiot, right? Because you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. So you get mated in these situations. So I was like, you know what? How do I stop all of this, like, ever from happening? So I got annoyed, and I'm like, man, I'm about to just take these pawns. So I just took on a5. I just took on a5. He took, and then I took on c5. So now I have literally all these pawns to go convert. I'm like, you know what? There's no way I'm losing this one. So he checks me. I tuck the king. I'm always on the radar to keep out for the idea of this. Always on the radar for this. So, of course, I have both entry squares for him to get there. Hence why bishop f7 wouldn't be as good because he could go in there. So I hate to keep an eye on the squares that he needs to get to g3. So keeping an eye on the squares was the whole idea. This too guard for no one to deal with. Yeah. Right. So, yeah. So I kept the bishop here. I played a4, rook a2, and we just can fly through some moves here. This is kind of what happened. I moved the bishop back around with ideas of rook check. And if knight c5, which is what he plays, I go b4, knight a4. I can let him have this pawn. But I have this under control now. Check, a6. We get this rolling. I bring the bishop around because I want to go here, not allow this. Anyway, bishop f3. He goes here, and then he hits us with a nice little tactic in the end. Knight e4. That's cute. That's cute. Still trying to go knight g3, but the rook is on the wrong square. Wrong square after b6 here with all kind of moves. Right, if rook takes a6, boom, I was just going to play b7, and then check, and then mate, or not mate, but, I mean, mating soon. Mating soon, obviously winning. Obviously winning. I think that's it there, yeah. After knight here, you have b7, you have a7. Everything wins there. Even here, just like mates too. Like here, and rook e2, this is pretty cool. Mate like that, but after b6... Evan resigned here. Evan resigned, and that was it. That was his game over. So this was the two brilliant moves. Around 7, let me actually pull that up, guys, again, for you guys to see right here. As chess.com sees it, boom. Look at the two brilliant moves. So as we click on them, We click on 2 brilliant moves. There's one, right? So you guys can see the visual. Bishop takes d6. This is a truly amazing move. Thank you, big fella. I appreciate it. I mean, you know, thank you. And then here's the other one right here. Rook takes f6. This is truly an amazing move. Another one. Yeah. 2 brilliant moves in the same game. Okay. Where is the blunder? Let's see what that is. So this was the blunder. E takes f5 was the blunder here. This leads to losing material, in fact. Wow. That's crazy. And then queen takes f5 was best. This is the line they wanted. Oh my goodness. This is some nuts stuff here. Wow. But yeah, this is what they wanted here. So I got 2 brilliant moves, guys. So, you know, this was round 7. Round 8 will be tomorrow. And then we can cover round 9 as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the YouTube channel. See y'all on the next one.